talk about Jamaica.
Yeah.
Your father's Jamaican, so tell us about Jamaica.
Well, probably beyond, and I say this with total bias, but I think people can recognize what I'm saying, beyond any other place of comparable size, has also culturally influenced the entire planet. Not just through reggae music and through sports, but through, even if we go earlier, through Marcus Garvey, who unified more people of African origin than any other movement before or since, who influenced every subsequent movement in Africa, independence movement, from the Mau Mau in Kenya to even the flag of Ghana is Garvey's symbol. That black star is Garvey's black star, the flag of Malawi, etc. So this is a man who leapt beyond the island of Jamaica and had this massive, massive influence, and is a product of Jamaica's particularly brutal, but its particular history. St. Lucia has the highest amount of Nobel Prize winners per capita of any country in the world. Now, I'm not saying a Nobel Prize is a culturally universal way of measuring intelligence. What I am saying is the Caribbean, even given all of these constrictions, if you like, and these limitations, has massively punched above its weight without colonizing other people. See, Britain, we talk about punching above our weight, and for sure, Britain has had a massive influence on the world. But much of that influence has come at the expense of military might, at the expense of colonizing and brutalizing other groups of people. That doesn't mean that Isaac Newton or Shakespeare or these guys were any less intelligent, but it also means that it's kind of tainted because the cultural influence is mixed with brutality, right? Jamaica's cultural influence is just cultural influence. Jamaica doesn't have a military base in any of the countries where reggae music is popular. And reggae music has spread in spite of not having the billions of dollars that are spent on popular forms of American music. Precisely because it's revolutionary, anti-imperialist, love-centered music, which is ironic because Jamaica is promoted to the world as the most, or at least Jamaican culture and Jamaican music culture is sort of seen in these kind of stereotypical terms, but it's the love and the peace and the almost kind of Buddhist-ish philosophy within Rasta that directs reggae music, that gives Jamaica this cultural power. So I feel that that's legitimately, people can be proud of that, whilst recognizing the sometimes horrific ongoings. If you stay in Negril or Montego Bay and you stay within the little kind of tourist resort, Jamaica is dangerous, I'm not going to lie. You know, there is violence and there are problems there, but tourists are certainly safer in the country than the locals anyway. Right? It's very unlikely and very slim chance of something happening to a person that's perceived to be a foreigner. You might get problems, but generally foreigners don't get killed because the people in the ghetto understand that when that happens, usually the government and the army comes and flattens the neighborhood, right? So there is a certain amount of safety even within it. And I've been all over Kingston. I've been to parties and raves and things in dangerous parts of Kingston, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm not telling anyone else what to do. I'm just saying for me, you get a much fuller experience if you actually interact with the culture. And you don't even have to go to Kingston. You could go to somewhere like St. Elizabeth, which is very quiet, very sunny, very idyllic part of the island. But again, interacting with local people gives you a much fuller sense of what Jamaicanness is, what is specific about that island, what it has produced, why reggae music came from there and not somewhere else. Why Bob Marley Bob Marley, Usain Bolt and Marcus Garvey are all from the same village, which is crazy in and of itself, right? And so I think that if you endeavored to have a full experience, you'd get a sense of just how far that place has come in such a short period of time. But you'd also get a sense of some of the shortcomings and the contradictions. This gives you an example of how much people want to go to the Caribbean, right? I was asked to go to a literature festival, Calabash Literature Festival, run by some people I know. Did my first performance in Jamaica. This literature festival doesn't pay people. The way it has to run, it's a free festival. Obviously, it covers your expenses, it takes you out there, but it's quite unapologetic and that lets everyone know it's a free festival. Yet it's been able to draw, literally, Nobel Prize winning authors. I mean, just this year alone, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, one of the biggest writers in Kenya, was there. Salman Rushdie was there. So the Caribbean still has this massively attractive pool that you can assemble a literature festival like that and have 3,000. And all of the audience pretty much is Jamaican. That's another part of Jamaican culture you don't get to see, the intellectual side. 3,000 people turning up 3 days in a row for 6 hours to hear people read books is not something we are led to associate with what goes on the island. And so the Caribbean, for obvious reasons, because of its weather, because of its history, because of the good food, some of which is being eroded by import-export policies, but for all of these reasons is a very attractive place for people to visit. But again, the tourism has its shortcomings.